This week's question is one that I love for a very particular reason. The question comes from a parishioner who tells us that she was visiting another parish and discovered that they have a wonderful custom of providing kneelers for the distribution of the precious blood of Jesus. And beyond the simple fact that I love talking about the Eucharist more than anything else in the world, I love this question because, well, first of all, it tells me that we have parishioners visiting other parishes, which I absolutely love because I never get tired of hearing stories about the celebration of Catholic faith in other communities. So that's number one for this week is if you visit another parish at some point in time, please try to remember to pick up a bulletin and bring it back to me, and let's talk about what you discovered about Catholic faith and Catholic life in that community, because it's something I never get tired of talking about. Secondly, I love this question because its source is a desire for an even greater devotion to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. And I could go on all day about why our relationship with Jesus, and specifically our encounter with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, is the defining love relationship in our lives and the measure of all of the other love relationships that we have in our life. And so I am always looking for ways for people to increase their devotion and increase their intimacy with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. And thirdly, it raises an interesting question specifically about church architecture. And this is really what leads to the answer to this particular question. One thing that we know is that Catholic parishes are not punched out like biscuits. It's not, we are all different in terms of architectural design, architectural features, and every church deals with specific opportunities and with specific limitations on how what is possible during, as we mentioned in a previous video, during the solemn and reverent distribution of the body and blood of Jesus. And I love the fact that people are not only mindful of this, but they can bring forward their thoughts and their reflections and their hopes regarding how could this be an even more solemn and more reverent encounter with Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament. I think the principal reason why kneelers during the distribution of precious blood may not currently be really a feasible option for St. Francis is because of some difference in design or architecture of the church itself. It may be a way of increasing the solemnity and the devotion present, as we always aim for in the distribution of the Blessed Sacrament. May be a possibility for another parish, but isn't really a practical possibility right now here at St. Francis. Now, that's not to say that it could never be, but undertaking that here at St. Francis would be a fairly substantial undertaking, not just because of the money that would be involved in the redesign of the sanctuary and of the nave of the church itself, but also, it's always a decision about, falling in love with the church that we have, but also having hopes and aspirations for her future. So I absolutely want to encourage all of you to continue to prayerfully consider how the solemnity and intimacy of your encounter with Jesus is developing, and absolutely encourage all of you to share how that's going on in your life. And thirdly, always be deepening your gratitude for Christ's radical faithfulness to his promise to be present to us. Not just an idea, not just a thought, not just a memory, not just a custom, but Jesus himself, present, body, blood, soul, divinity, whole and entire, and absolutely never withholding anything of himself, but always bringing us to every corner and every aspect of our lives. And so, bearing all of these wonderful things in mind, remember that God is who he says he is, you are who he says you are, and live the life that he created you to live.